Anger is a powerful emotion. It's the go-to response to avoid feelings of confusion, sadness, or fear. If unmanaged, anger can cause us to harm others, but it can also cause damage to ourselves, both physically and mentally. To live and promote a healthy life, we must learn to manage these intense feelings. So here are 5 habits that can help control your anger. 1. Give yourself time. Anger is an explosive emotion that leads us to act impulsively, but with patience, we give ourselves time to see the situation differently. When seen from a different angle, you may find your anger subsiding. Compassion and consideration then take its place. Here are a few tips to practice patience when the explosion of anger takes over. Count. When you feel your anger is uncontrollable, count slowly from 1 to 10 or even higher depending on your anger level. This gives you something to focus on as your anger balances out and your heart rate decreases. As the end number approaches, you'll feel calmness and control are once again in your grasp. Use a timer. Sometimes our anger is so great that it fogs our mental state. It can be difficult to distract yourself by counting in your head. In this situation, a good idea is to use an external counter or a timer. Try setting a timer for however long you need to calm down. When the timer goes off, you'll notice your thoughts have slowed down. You'll then be able to approach the cause of your anger with a level head. Breathe. As stated earlier, anger comes about when we feel out of control or threatened. This triggers our fight or flight response, which increases our heart rate and shallows our breathing. This only worsens your stress. To reverse these effects, breathe in deeply through your nose and out through your mouth. When you focus on your breath, your heart rate and your anger will slowly decrease. Try to understand. Anger is a destructive emotion. It doesn't resolve or create, it only breaks down. So practice patience by trying to resolve the problem through understanding and empathy. Try to pinpoint both why you are angry and where other people are coming from. When you take the time to understand, you can address the problem productively instead of destructively. Rehearse beforehand. Remember, anger is a response to feelings of sadness or confusion. Complicated topics that are too overwhelming are often the cause of anger. Rather than respond impulsively, take a step back and rehearse your responses. This gives you the chance to express yourself clearly and avoid saying something you may regret. When you give yourself time, you practice patience, which is the first step to a healthy relationship with others and yourself. 2. Work your body to control your anger. When you're angry, adrenaline is released into your bloodstream. Your heart rate and blood flow increase as your muscles tense up. This affects your cardiac health and compromises your immune system. So instead of holding on to your anger, it's important to find a healthy release. Putting in the effort to work on your body can go a long way in managing these furious emotions. Here are a few ways you can control your anger through physical, healthy means. Relax your muscles. Among the many physical effects of anger, muscle tension can be the most frustrating. The tension in your body only worsens the tension you feel in your mind. This then causes more muscle tension. To relieve yourself of this vicious cycle, loosen your muscles by using a technique called progressive muscle relaxation. Gradually tense, then relax individual muscle groups one by one. Start from the head and move down your body toward your toes. As you do this, use the deep breathing technique described earlier. The benefit of this technique is twofold. It's a healthy release of tension, and by giving you time, it's meditative in nature. Stretch your body. Similar to progressive muscle relaxation, stretching relaxes your muscles through exerted tension followed by release. Yoga is a fantastic method to relieve the tension anger stores in your body. You can find many guided yoga meditations online that focus on particular muscle groups, but really any stretching exercise can achieve the same effect. Slow, deliberate stretching teaches you control over your body and, by extension, your emotions. Do some exercise. Though anger increases your heart rate, it also increases your blood pressure. Exercise, on the other hand, decreases your blood pressure and releases endorphins that bring on contentment. On top of this, it brings on self-confidence, which can alleviate the feelings of confusion caused by anger. Managing your anger is about regaining the control you feel you've lost. Working on your body is a great physical way of taking that control back. 3. Expand your vocabulary of anger. The words we use are important. Using the word anger to define all negative emotions is simplistic and therefore overwhelming. Without the proper vocabulary, you can't understand your experience with your own anger. By clearly defining what we're feeling, we can find the best approach to manage that feeling. There are many variations of anger, some more intense than others. So the next time you're angry, ask yourself what kind of anger you're feeling. Here are some definitions to help you identify precisely what you're experiencing. Rage refers to incredibly intense, powerful fits of irritation in which you lose rational focus and act on offense alone. Annoyance typically refers to a fit of mild anger that can be described as grating at your nerves. Frustration, like annoyance, is a fit of mild anger often brought about when you fail to achieve a particular goal. And resentment is also mild but long-term. It's usually directed at a person or circumstance you feel has having wronged you in the past. These are only a few definitions, but there are many, many more. While you certainly don't have to learn them all, identifying a few will benefit you in the long run. By explaining your anger, you will immediately open the door to solutions instead of arguments. 4. Use the art of stopping. Earlier, we spoke of patience and giving yourself time. But what about those moments of outrage in which all you see is red, when you're so furious that it's nearly impossible to think? This is where the art of stopping comes in. This is the habit of consistently hitting the pause button on your emotions. It's true this may not make the situation more positive, but the goal in this scenario is to avoid making things worse. This is one of the tougher habits to pick up, but here are a few tips to help you get started. Imagine a stop sign. This may sound silly, but when you picture a big red sign screaming at you to stop, you'll pay attention. Keep in mind the goal here is just to prevent a worse outcome, and this may just be the mental trick you need to pull yourself together and take a step back. Enforce a timeout on yourself. This also may sound silly, but just think about it for a second. Kids get timeouts because they work. Timeouts are the ultimate way to put a stop to extreme emotions. So when you find yourself in a fury, simply say, "Excuse me," and walk away. Then head someplace away from other people. This will allow you to slowly reflect on the events that led to your anger. Keep your mouth shut. When all else fails, focus on one thing and one thing only, keeping your mouth shut. Yes, it'll be tempting to spout off some hurtful words, but it's better to stew silently in your anger than say something you'll most certainly regret later. Unfortunately, anger is a feeling that makes your mouth work faster than your mind. Fight this temptation and use every silent second to think of the next step that won't escalate the situation. 5. Express your anger. While it's important to give yourself time to control your anger, this does not mean you should repress your anger. Bottling it all up only causes your anger to compound over time, so your best response is to channel your anger in a healthy way. Here are a few helpful habits that allow you to express your anger safely and productively. Talk to someone you trust. Your friends and family are there for a reason. They have your back and are there for you when you need them. So tell them what you need. Maybe it's a listening ear, maybe advice. Regardless, your friends and family can grant you new perspectives. When you're going off the rails, they'll help you get back on track. Write a letter. This is a great way to spill out all of your anger without doing any harm. Think of the person who's got you upset, then jot out a letter expressing all the fury you have, even if it's cruel. Then rip it up. Seeing those thoughts on paper may give you a new perspective on how you feel. Maybe those cruel words don't truly express what you think of this person. Or perhaps on the flip side, you may realize they aren't worth your anger at all. Find a creative channel. Controlling your anger is all about channeling a destructive feeling into a creative one. Whether it's writing, painting, playing music, or even gardening, creative channels allow you to express your anger productively. And creation is one of the healthiest and most inspiring things you can do. Listen to music. Sometimes all you need is to feel that you're not alone in your anger. Listening to angry music can help you relate your anger with others. Or sometimes happy music can remind you what joy looks like. Sing, dance, and let the lyrics speak for you. Keep a journal. Keeping a journal has similar benefits to writing a letter. The difference is that the journal is just for you. In your journal, express every thought, emotion, or feeling you have, completely unfiltered. Studies have shown that journaling boosts positive thinking through reflection. By journaling, you'll find when emotions are taking over, giving you the chance to take that control back. Anger leads to bewilderment, which then leads to a loss of composition and rationality. When you lose your rational faculty, you fall prey to delusion, and when you act on delusion, you'll most certainly feel regret. While feeling anger is okay, you owe it to yourself and others to manage these feelings. Doing so is guaranteed to bring you inner and outer peace. If you enjoy our videos, please pass this along to someone who needs it. Thank you.